Hello and welcome. So, something I realized today that I could actually get into, just coming out of it, is probably something like a good practice for me. I discovered this, that it could be a practice. This meditating of presence, especially I think after having practiced gratitude, whatever you call it, law of attraction, and with the Wim Hof method, it's bringing yourself to the awareness point because there is pain, or what feels like pain, and the identification of pain. And I was watching some videos of Eckhart, and as I noticed that every time I watched some videos today, I noticed that I was just literally bringing the attention back to the body. I was putting my hands beneath my legs, here my thighs, and then I realized that I was resisting it. Not exactly resisting it, but it was an unconscious effort, meaning I wasn't. It's a resistance because it's a resistance is, in my experience, this idea that I don't want this, therefore I must do everything to be comfortable. And I was reading this yesterday and I saw a post on Instagram saying that be uncomfortable, or whenever we go into an uncomfortable state, it doesn't necessarily mean that you go out there, but whenever it comes, embrace it. And what Eckhart puts it as, yes, you accept it as it is, meaning as if, what is it? Accept the situation as if you had chosen it, or something like that. And coming out of this one, it wasn't like an intended meditation, it was just, it happened. And I was asking for guidance today earlier on, and I think I got the guidance in this case. At least it's ongoing. Guidance is always ongoing. This is where we get into connectiveness and connecting with being, universe. I guess you can call it love. It's just consciousness, pure consciousness. And it's not even a feeling, it's an awareness. It's not even what people might call neutral. It's just like you just know. It's a not knowing. It's not anything that words can be. You can't put words into it. And I think for people who have been practicing this quite often, they're very much like this. They behave like, I don't know if you notice this, but the way I talk right now is slowed down. That's because it's not about slowing down or being fast or anything at all. The state of being, coming out of it, or rather, coming out of it is just in presence. You're just there. There's no words for it. And so I just noticed that I'm posting this video is so that I can actually I guess it could show in a way, or possibly help others. So what I'm going to do is in my channel I've never done this before, and so what I'm going to do is probably help you through this process. Call it meditation, whatever, guidance, doesn't matter. I just had this like sense that I should post this. So it didn't start from anything. It was no starting point. It was just I started getting into it by really going into the breath. And I'm pretty sure that this has been mentioned in many disciplines or in Buddhism. When you go into the breath, when I say you go into the breath, it's not an intention, it is your attention. So you're just allowing the breath to be. And the best optimal way, as Eckhart puts it, you always want to practice, yes, in an optimal situation, your environment where you are not going to be disturbed, and you start breathing. Could be deep breaths. Eventually, when you start doing the deep breaths, like first it's probably going to be like fast breaths, like or forced and going deep into it, especially if you're doing the Wim Hof method, where it's like you're doing deep breath and it's kind of like it's an intended breath, right? Intended inhale, intended exhale. Eventually you start to go from, it comes from a desire, comes from wanting. And eventually you start doing that, you just keep going at it, keep going, and then allow yourself to be in that situation. And then it becomes, you start to eventually do the breathing deep, but naturally deep. No force, nothing. It's just, as the Buddhists say, nothingness. And it's usually good to close your eyes too, or listen to something that's going to be very just still, like water, sounds of air, nature, quietness, stillness. And then you'll get to the point where you start to kind of, because you're bringing your attention to the body becomes not only an anchor, but at the same time, there's a part of you that might want to start going, oh, there's a bit of pain there. I'm standing up. This one hurts. All that stuff. But instead of going there, don't do the opposite. Just allow it. Literally allow the pain to happen. Allow any sort of feeling. Allow any physical thing. And eventually, you know that it's almost, not really almost, but it's kind of using being numb into that direction of, you just start to really accept it. And you start to have this sort of like, it's just pure acceptance. It's not anything else. Right? So when you get to that point, you want to, because I can't show it here, you have to really experience it yourself. You have to really go into the body and feel it. This kind of practice, I sense and feel that it's going to be helpful as a practice when, especially not only when, because it becomes a practice, it becomes a sort of a go-to sort of thing. You come back to your natural state of being. See, as I do that inhale, I took an inhale because I wanted to, there's this, it's not a want, it's because I was just in this awareness state that it's like, I guess you can say it wants to go back. So it recognizes it. And when I say it, I mean our true essence, one of all of us, meaning all one, eventually wants to go back to the state. This is why we do, like, we sigh, we do deep breathing, and we're in trouble. The breath is a signal. It's a kind of a way to say we need to go back to our natural state, to go back to that. You know, this is what also is relative and connected to when we say, when, I don't know, some people have heard, we were born with nothing, and we will leave with nothing. Something like that. I add to that, we were born with nothing and we leave with nothing, and yet we are everything. I don't know. So I'll leave it there. I hope this was kind of helpful to avoid whatever degree. If you follow Eckhart Tolle already, great. If you do kind of the stuff, if you do Wim Hof method, if you practice gratitude, law of attraction, all those things, and start to become more present. There's an actual, it's not separate. Those are all, we all end up basically in the same place. That's where it is. Pure consciousness is where it's at. But we can bring heaven on earth, right? So, anyways, I hope that this was helpful. Again, I just came out of that state of condition, that state of being, and it's even from the egoic perspective. It's a wonderful experience. I think it goes beyond the joy, which is like what presence is. It's enlightenment in a way that it's not thought, it's not attachment, it's not any of those things. So I've done these several times before. I'm sharing this with you purely simply because I wanted to share it, or I had this feeling that I should share it. So anyways, I hope this helps. I'll see you later.